Shalom and good day all, this is Tehillim29 back again for another anime review of Akuma Kun episodes 11 and 12. So before I move into covering the review of each episode, I will give the episode title for episode 11 and also 12, and also give their synopsis, and then after that I'll move into my written notes in regards to each episode. So for the first one, episode 11 is called Play. When Shingo, aka the first Akuma Kun, is sealed away, the father and son Mephisto, so Mephisto the second and the third, set out to rescue him, while Akuma Kun, the second Akuma Kun, being Ichiro, decides to take a different approach in trying to save his dad. For episode 12, it is titled Sacrifice, to which Akuma Kun, Ichiro, Gremory, and Mephisto III enter the barrier to save Shingo, the first Akuma Kun. But first, they'll have to confront Strophea, an old enemy from Ichiro's past. I'll now move into my written notes in regards to each of these episodes, starting now. So, as the episode begins, Shingo encounters Strophea, who is attempting to destroy the Flute of Solomon. In the process, he seals up Shingo behind a barrier, and it's not long after that Mephisto II goes to his son, Mephisto III, who is with Ichiro, the present Akuma Kun, to report that the Millennial Kingdom is basically under threat. So as both Mephistos go to take on or work together to freeing Shingo, we see Ichiro and both Shingo doing some research of their own in the archive of the books that they have at hand. And also, through this, we learn through some flashbacks as to how the Flute of Solomon plays an important part in regards to Ichiro's past, which I really did enjoy the flashbacks here. So in the process, we also get some flashbacks from Ichiro's point of view within the story, and we learn some of the things that he learnt under Shingo, who is the present the original Akuma Kun, to which we eventually reach a scene towards the end of this particular episode, to which we see a copy of sorts of a fake Shingo, which is created from Strophea, and we get to see how Ichiro reacts to seeing this particular Shingo, to which a shot is taken at them. The next episode basically picks up from where the fake Shingo is shot through, only to the disguise is basically exposed, and the Mephistos are surprised that they weren't able to see what was actually occurring there with the character of Mephisto. Not long after that, they do enter through the barrier to do their best to save the Millennial Kingdom, to which we learn that Shingo has now gone to where the flute is, and is doing the best he can to basically protect the flute, or Solomon's flute. Whilst this is occurring, we do get a little bit of help from... there's a bit of a race against time to save Shingo and also the Millennial Kingdom, to which we have some help from the second of two of Shingo's best friends, who are also apostles or missionaries or whatever, connected to the Millennial Kingdom in this story. Getting flashbacks again, we see more in regards to Ichiro and Shingo, and we learn a little bit more around the flute and why it's actually important in the story. As things draw closer towards the end of the story, we have Mephisto III making a harsh request of Ichiro as he goes to fight against Throphea, and we see as Ichiro struggles with the harsh choice that he has to make to fulfill his promise for his friend, because he warns that once he reaches this stage, the only way to sort of save him is to kill him. And we do get to see an emotional, somewhat payoff from Ichiro in this. Not long after the defeat of Throphea, a majority of the characters return to the Millennial Research Institute, to which we have a reunion with Shingo, Mephisto, second and third. We also have Sanai, Mio, and her cat as well, along with Ichiro, and last but not least, Gremory, and also the two apostles that were also with Shingo as well. So moving into my afterthoughts in relation to these particular episodes, I must admit, if this character was actually made manga canon, I would have no problem with accepting this character. And this character I'm talking about is the character of Ichiro, especially in some of the things that we learn of his flashbacks, to which in some essence he was also a bit of a slave of sorts, under Throphea, who we learn is like a type of a fallen angel in the story. And also seeing how he works alongside with the rest of the characters that are in the story. Yes, he does come off, in earlier chapters, that he's a little bit, I guess, hard to read, but we also get to see within the story the thing that I was actually looking for, where he takes the time to deduct and calculate and get an answer in regards to the case at hand or the job at hand. And in this particular case, it had to do with saving his old man who adopted him, being Shingo, the man who saved him, or that young man who saved him. And from that, we also see the connection of how Mephisto II played a part, and not long after that, we see how each of these characters grow between each other, including Gremory. And if I were to say one thing, just do something to get rid of that contract between Gremory, because I want to see a second season of this. I want to see more Ichiro. Now, moving into the next thing after my afterthoughts, and that is the area of the raising. Now, for the main characters that really stood out in this, and the main characters, of course, being Ichiro, the present-day Akuma Kun, Mephisto, fantastic job there. And for their rating, I give a straight 9 out of 10. Now, after this video is done, I will be working on one more video, which is like an overall season review of this, as well as rating, or overall review and rating of the whole season. And the next area is that of the supporting characters, to which many of the supporting characters, of course, being Shingo, we also have Gremory, we had the apostles, sort of like that which connects to the original Akuma Kun. And I believe that was really well done and really well executed with these characters, to which I give an 8.5 out of 10. Next is the area of the animation, to which I give an 8 out of 10. I actually enjoyed how things sort of like worked towards the end and began to finish things off. The soundtrack, I have absolutely enjoyed the soundtrack throughout this season. And I like how when they bring in notes at certain times, it gets you prepared to what's to come and even what's to be said by certain characters. To which I give the soundtrack an 8.5 out of 10. Now it comes down to the last thing, and that is the area of the story rating. Looking at these last two chapters, it gave me the feels. it almost practically brought a tear to my eye because of some of the things that were being asked of the main character. And it was like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Not only did the story tear at the heartstrings, especially towards the end, the last episode, it really did set things up. Even though they play it like it's an end, this series really needs to continue. I want to see more story with Ichiro and Shingo and Mephisto the Third and the Second and the Apostles, and whether they'll be brought back in. These are some of the things that are clocking around in my mind or ticking around in my mind right now in regards to this particular story. Give me a second season. I want to see more. Will there be another character that might be of a lesser threat than Starfire? Will we get to see a little bit more, which will happen in regards to maybe Gremory's character, which maybe she might change her position in regards to a certain contract she made and maybe decide to work with someone connected to the deep dark underworld, being Satan, and maybe play the role of like a betrayer or a traitor in the story. These are things that I want to find out. So, for the overall story rating, I give it a 9 out of 10. So, as we draw forward to a close towards this review, what were your favourite things from these last two episodes? What did you enjoy the most? Until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day. Well, stay tuned for one last video. I might give myself a bit of a couple of days of rest, or I might have a day of rest. Just so I can catch up with my thoughts and everything that I've written through and get myself prepared for the last overall season and rating review, or season 1 review of Akuma Kun. So, even though this is going to go up on its set day, I will still have the overall season review to go up the day after this. But the time of the week that this is being done, you probably would have seen the review on episodes 3 and 4. So that's when I'm doing this review. So when episodes 3 and 4 go up is when I'm actually doing this review for episodes 11 and 12. So until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.